Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world where respect is earned, not demanded, and where a man's true strength isn't measured by how loud he shouts, but by how calmly he reacts. Too often, people believe that being a real man means dominating arguments, proving who's right, or showing anger when disrespected. But that's not strength. That's weakness disguised as pride. Real men don't argue when disrespected. They respond with self-control. They understand that silence and composure can speak louder than any insult ever could. Because when you argue with disrespect, you lower yourself to the same level as the person who disrespected you. A real man knows that his energy is precious. He doesn't waste it on proving his worth to those who cannot see it. Instead, he walks away with dignity, focusing on what matters: his goals, his family, his peace. When disrespected, a real man doesn't explode, he elevates. He lets his actions, not his emotions, speak for him. The best revenge for disrespect is success, peace, and the ability to remain unbothered. So, brothers and sisters, remember this. It's not about how you react in moments of peace, but how you respond in moments of provocation. Arguing is easy. Walking away with grace takes power. Real men don't argue. They observe, they forgive, they grow, and they move on because they understand that their worth is far greater than anyone's opinion. Real strength isn't found in the power of your fists or the volume of your voice. It's found in the discipline of your mind and the control of your emotions. Anyone can get angry. Anyone can shout, argue, or lash out when they feel disrespected. But it takes a real man to remain calm in that storm, to keep his peace when others try to steal it. Self-control is the highest form of power because it means you are the master of yourself. When you stay composed in the face of disrespect, you prove that no one else controls your emotions. You do. People who lose their temper easily are like candles in the wind. They burn out quickly. But the man who can stay steady even when provoked is like a mountain, unshaken, unmovable, and respected by all. Aggression may make you look tough for a moment, but calmness makes you powerful forever. Real men know that reacting in anger often leads to regret, but responding with patience builds character. The world respects the man who can stand in silence while being disrespected, because silence, when it comes from strength, speaks louder than any angry word ever could. When someone disrespects you, their goal is often to pull you down to their level, to make you lose your composure, your focus, and your self-respect. The moment you start arguing with them, you hand them the power to control your emotions. You begin to fight a battle that doesn't even deserve your presence. Arguing with disrespectful people doesn't prove that you're strong. It proves that they've succeeded in provoking you. Every word you throw back at them only feeds their ego and takes away from your own dignity. A real man understands that no matter how wrong someone else is, reacting with anger or bitterness only tarnishes his own image. Dignity is not about always being right. It's about staying right in your behavior. When you refuse to argue with someone who's being disrespectful, you show the world that you value your peace more than your pride. You demonstrate maturity, wisdom, and emotional intelligence. Because arguing with a fool doesn't make you wise, it just makes two fools in the same room. Instead of matching disrespect with disrespect, rise above it. Stay calm, stay quiet, and let your composure remind others that your respect can't be shaken by someone else's rudeness, and calmness are not signs of weakness. They are signs of strength, discipline, and deep confidence. It takes true maturity to stay silent when your pride is challenged, and it takes real confidence to remain calm when others try to provoke you. Most people believe that talking back or reacting instantly shows power, but in reality, it only shows insecurity. When a man stays calm in the face of disrespect, he sends a powerful message that he is in full control of himself, and nothing anyone says can disturb his inner peace. Silence in such moments becomes louder than words. It shows that you have reached a level of emotional maturity where you no longer seek validation through arguments or approval through noise. Calmness allows you to think clearly, while anger clouds your judgment. When you are calm, you can observe everything, the tone, the intention, the emotion, and decide wisely how to respond. But when you react out of anger, you lose control and often make decisions you'll later regret. A mature man knows that silence doesn't mean surrender. It means understanding that not every battle is worth fighting. Remaining calm under pressure shows the world that your confidence doesn't depend on others' opinions. It shows that you know your worth and therefore you don't need to shout to prove it. Your energy is your greatest currency. It fuels your focus, your goals, your growth, and your peace of mind. Every time you engage in a pointless argument, especially with someone who has no intention of understanding you, you're spending that energy in the wrong place. A real man knows that his time and energy are limited, and he must protect them like treasure. Arguing with disrespectful people doesn't change their mindset. It only drains your spirit. When you let every insult or provocation pull you into conflict, you're allowing others to control your emotions. And when people can easily trigger you, they own a part of your peace. That's why wise men choose silence, not because they're weak, but because they know that peace is more powerful than proving a point. Think about it. Every minute spent in argument could be a minute spent building your dreams, improving yourself, or finding new opportunities. Every time you choose to walk away from negativity, you're preserving your energy for something that truly matters. Protecting your energy isn't just self-care, it's self-respect. A man who values his energy doesn't let small people with small minds drain it. He saves his strength for meaningful battles. The kind that build him, not the kind that break him. Your energy should be invested in progress, not in proving yourself to those who will never understand your worth. Walking away from disrespect or unnecessary conflict is one of the most misunderstood acts of strength. Many people confuse silence and withdrawal with cowardice, but in truth, walking away requires far more courage than staying to argue. It takes a wise and self-aware man to recognize that some situations are not worth his time, his peace, or his dignity. When you walk away, you're not losing, you're choosing. You're choosing peace over pride, maturity over impulse, and control over chaos. It shows that you value your inner calm more than the need to win a meaningless argument. A real man doesn't waste his time trying to prove his worth to someone who has already decided not to see it. He understands that no amount of talking can change a mind that's closed or open a heart that's full of pride. Walking away also reflects emotional intelligence, the ability to recognize that your reaction is your responsibility. You can't control how others treat you, but you can always control how you respond. When you step back instead of striking back, you protect your integrity and your peace. True wisdom lies in understanding that silence and distance are often the best replies to ignorance. Walking away doesn't mean you're scared. It means you're smart enough to see that engaging in every battle only distracts you from your purpose. The strongest men are those who can smile, stay calm, and walk away. Not because they can't fight, but because they know that the fight isn't worth it. A real man understands that emotions are powerful, but if left unchecked, they can become his greatest weakness. When faced with disrespect, he doesn't let anger or pride dictate his next move. Instead, he pauses, observes, and then responds through his actions. Actions that speak louder, last longer, and cut deeper than any heated words ever could. Reacting out of emotion often leads to regret. When you let your feelings control your response, you give temporary emotions permanent power. A real man refuses to let that happen. He knows that his reaction defines his character, not the disrespect thrown at him. That's why he chooses to stay composed and lets his results do the talking. His success, discipline, and calm demeanor become the ultimate answers to anyone who doubted or disrespected him. Actions have a way of silencing critics that words never will. When you focus on your growth, your peace, and your progress instead of arguing, you automatically prove your strength. You show that your worth doesn't depend on what others say. It depends on what you do. Real men channel their emotions into motivation. They take the energy that could have been wasted in anger and invest it into becoming better. Stronger in mind, sharper in focus, and wiser in choices. While others are busy talking, he's busy building. And when the results appear, there's no need for argument. Because success always speaks for itself. Respect is something that no man can demand. It is something he must earn through his behavior, character, and consistency. A real man knows that forcing others to respect him through fear, argument, or aggression never lasts. True respect comes naturally when people recognize your discipline, your values, and your calm strength. When someone disrespects you, reacting with anger might make you feel powerful for a moment, but it doesn't earn you genuine respect. It only creates fear or tension. Real respect is built quietly over time, by the way you handle yourself in difficult situations. When you remain composed while others lose control, people notice. They begin to understand that you are not ordinary, that you carry a sense of dignity that cannot be shaken by insults or ego battles. Respect is a reflection of how you treat yourself. If you respect your own peace, your time, and your energy, the world will learn to do the same. You teach others how to treat you by the standards you uphold. If you argue with every person who disrespects you, you give them importance they don't deserve. But when you rise above their behavior, you show them, and everyone watching, that your value doesn't depend on anyone's approval. Earning respect requires patience, consistency, and self-control. It's not about demanding it through dominance, but about inspiring it through example. People respect those who don't react to every insult, who carry themselves with grace even in chaos. The man who respects himself enough to stay calm, stay focused, and stay silent when needed, eventually commands the respect of everyone around him, not by asking for it, but by deserving it. When someone disrespects you, their goal is often to bring you down, to shake your confidence, and to make you react. But the most powerful way to respond is not through anger, not through revenge, but through success and peace. Nothing silences disrespect like watching you rise above it, achieving what others said you couldn't, and doing it all without bitterness or hate. Success is the quiet answer that doesn't need explanation. When you focus on your goals instead of your grudges, you show that your energy is directed toward progress, not pain. Every achievement becomes a statement that no disrespect, no negativity, and no opinion can stop you from becoming who you were meant to be. Calmness doesn't mean you don't feel anger or pain. It means you've learned to manage it. You've learned that exploding doesn't solve anything. It only gives your power away. Staying calm gives you time to think, to respond intelligently, and to protect your peace. Yeah. It earns you respect, not through fear, but through admiration. A calm man commands attention without demanding it. His silence carries authority, and his patience earns trust. The man who can stay grounded when others are losing control is the one everyone turns to for strength. Because real masculinity isn't about being loud, it's about being steady, wise, and unshaken in the face of disrespect or difficulty. Pride often pushes men to react, to prove a point, to defend their ego, to win an argument that's not even worth fighting. But a real man has learned that peace is far more valuable than pride. Pride demands that you speak. Peace teaches you to stay silent. Pride wants revenge. Peace seeks understanding. Pride is loud and restless, but peace is quiet and powerful. A real man understands that protecting his peace is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of wisdom. He knows that his mental and emotional stability are worth more than temporary satisfaction from winning an argument. When someone disrespects him, he doesn't respond to satisfy his pride. He responds to protect his peace. That's what maturity looks like. Choosing long-term harmony over short-term ego. Pride makes you fight battles that don't matter. It makes you waste time proving your worth to people who will never appreciate it. But peace allows you to walk away knowing that your value doesn't depend on anyone's approval. It keeps your mind clear, your spirit light, and your focus strong. The man who values his peace refuses to let anyone disturb it. No matter how big the insult or how harsh the words, peace gives you power. It allows you to move forward without bitterness, to grow without grudges, and to stay focused on what truly matters: your purpose, your family, your goals, and your happiness. A real man understands that pride fades, but peace endures. And when you choose peace over pride, you don't lose, you rise. Because in the end, the strongest man isn't the one who wins every argument. It's the one who walks away with his heart calm, his mind clear, and his dignity untouched. What truly matters: your purpose, your family, your goals, and your happiness. A real man understands that pride fades, but peace endures. And when you choose peace over pride, you don't lose, you rise. Because in the end, the strongest man isn't the one who wins every argument. It's the one who walks away with his heart calm, his mind clear, and his dignity untouched. A real man doesn't waste his time trying to convince others of his worth. He knows that his actions, his consistency, and his success will speak for him. He doesn't chase validation because he understands that respect earned through silence lasts far longer than respect demanded through shouting. When you rise above disrespect, you show that you are not ruled by ego but guided by wisdom. You teach others that maturity is not about winning arguments. It's about knowing which battles deserve your energy. The one who remains calm, even when insulted, is the one who truly wins. Because your peace is your power. The man who can protect his peace no matter what happens around him is stronger than any man who can fight with words or fists. Success and serenity are the loudest answers to disrespect, and they echo longer than any argument ever could. So don't lower yourself to prove a point. Instead, rise higher to make a difference. Keep your composure, protect your peace, and let your life become the message. Real men don't argue when disrespected. They let their actions, achievements, and calm strength speak louder than any voice raised in anger. True masculinity is not about dominance, aggression, or showing who's stronger in the moment. It's about the ability to remain calm when everything around you is trying to pull you into chaos. A real man doesn't lose himself when the situation gets heated. He controls his thoughts, his words, and his energy. That calmness under pressure is what separates the men of strength from the men of impulse. When disrespect or challenges arise, staying calm shows that you are in control, not just of the situation, but of yourself. Anyone can act tough when life is easy, but the real test of a man's character comes when he's provoked. Can he stand tall and think clearly while others lose their temper? Can he respond with wisdom when others react with emotion? That's what true masculinity is about. Mastering yourself before trying to master others. Calmness doesn't mean you don't feel anger or pain. It means you've learned to manage it. You've learned that exploding doesn't solve anything. It only gives your power away. Staying calm gives you time to think, to respond intelligently, and to protect your peace. It earns you respect, not through fear, but through admiration. A calm man commands attention without demanding it. His silence carries authority, and his patience earns trust. The man who can stay grounded when others are losing control is the one everyone turns to for strength. Because real masculinity isn't about being loud. It's about being steady, wise, and unshaken in the face of disrespect or difficulty. Pride often pushes men to react, to prove a point, to defend their ego, to win an argument that's not even worth fighting. But a real man has learned that peace is far more valuable than pride. Pride demands that you speak. Peace teaches you to stay silent. Pride wants revenge. Peace seeks understanding. Pride is loud and restless, but peace is quiet and powerful. A real man understands that protecting his peace is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of wisdom. He knows that his mental and emotional stability are worth more than temporary satisfaction from winning an argument. When someone disrespects him, he doesn't respond to satisfy his pride. He responds to protect his peace. That's what maturity looks like. Choosing long-term harmony over short-term ego. Pride makes you fight battles that don't matter. It makes you waste time proving your worth to people who will never appreciate it. But peace allows you to walk away knowing that your value doesn't depend on anyone's approval. It keeps your mind clear, your spirit light, and your focus strong. The man who values his peace refuses to let anyone disturb it, no matter how big the insult or how harsh the words. Peace gives you power. It allows you to move forward without bitterness, to grow without grudges, and to stay focused on what truly matters: your purpose, your family, your goals, and your happiness. A real man understands that pride fades, but peace endures. And when you choose peace over pride, you don't lose, you rise. Because in the end, the strongest man isn't the one who wins every argument. It's the one who walks away with his heart calm, his mind clear, and his dignity untouched.